can move forward to chapter number 1, which will last up until 12:30. The chapter is about geopolitics, regional cooperation, and perhaps in the Mediterranean. In this chapter, we will have the honor to have the president of Piraeus Port Authority, Mr. Yu, to be in the panel. President, please. We will have the counselor from the Secretariat of Cooperation between China and CEEC countries from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, Ms. Xiaoqi, please. We will have Mr. Angelos Vlachos, the board member of the Hellenic Ports Association and the CEO of Port of Kavala. And we will have also Ambassador ad Honor, Mr. Rallis, Dimitrios Rallis, who's also the Deputy Secretary General from the Black Sea Economic Cooperation Organization, BSEC Permis, based in Istanbul. And the chapter will be moderated by a very, very good and close friend, Mr. Anthony Papagiannidis, who in the very last, as far as I remember, 5-6 years, he's moderating all economic forums, either it is the Balkans and the Black Sea Forum or the Agribusiness Forum. The only at that point, I would like also to state that we will start with a video message from the Commissioner for Neighborhood and Enlargement of the European Commission, and afterwards the floor will be taken by President Yu. All speakers will address by the podium, and Mr. Yu then, because he is also the host, will join us to the table and not staying in the panel. Okay, so we can start with a video message. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to address you today at the 5th edition of the Balkans and Black Sea Forum, focusing on regional cooperation and connectivity. Investing in sustainable connectivity has been a key priority for the EU enlargement policy from the beginning of this mandate. It is at the center of the region's economic and investment plan and an integral part of the new growth plan for the Western Balkans that we proposed in November last year. The growth plan aims to accelerate the accession process through boosting economic and social development. It is based on 4 pillars aimed at access to the EU single market, deepening the regional economic integration, accelerating fundamental reforms, and increasing funding. The growth plan will enable the Western Balkans to benefit from advantages of EU membership prior to full accession. For gradual integration into the single market, we have identified 7 priority actions, which include the facilitation of road transport, decarbonization, and the integration of energy markets. To drive these objectives forward, we have proposed a new 6 billion euros financial instrument, the Reform and Growth Facility. Once adopted, this growth plan would complement consistently our infrastructure projects already running under the framework of the 30 billion euros economic and investment plan. To give you a few relevant examples, in the area of transport, we are contributing financially to complete major corridors across the region, such as Corridor 10 in Serbia, Corridor 5C in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the Mediterranean corridor in Albania. For those 3 corridors, total investments amount to more than 8.4 billion euros, including contributions of the Western Balkans, EU grants and loans from international financial institutions. Our objective is to connect these corridors with the EU to facilitate transport systems that benefit businesses and citizens from the EU and the Western Balkans. In the area of energy, we are linking the region with the EU through gas and electricity interconnectors. For example, the Trans-Balkan Electricity Transmission Corridor will allow better energy interconnection between Montenegro, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Serbia. We have supported this project with 107 million euros. Regarding gas, we are proud to have co-financed both of the Serbia-Bulgaria gas interconnector stretches with more than 80 million euros in grants. This interconnector will contribute to diversifying supply routes and improving regional market integration. In conclusion, we will continue to support the region in building the much-needed connectivity networks so the region experiences a speedy economic and social development, and step by step we will continue to support the integration of the region into the EU single market. Thank you for your attention.
So, as you also, Commissioner Várhelyi projected an image of concern about the region, trying to view the whole region, since Greece stands at more or less the southern easternmost tip of Europe, but also it looks towards the East and Central Europe. But it was an image, should I say, of fair weather. Europe, the European Union, has always been and will always be a soft power projection in international politics. Now our chapter, our debate, will center more to geopolitics, which is rather a harder kind of politics. On regional cooperation, which can also accept the benevolent eye of Brussels, but has to find internal willfulness to proceed. And we also have to look at port hubs in the Mediterranean at a point where traffic is disturbed, and this is a reality on which both this and the next panel will more or less address in their own way. So now I will have to call Mr. Zenggang as chairman of the board of directors of the Piraeus Port Authority, just some weeks or months after the shock in the Mediterranean happened. He has the responsibility of running all of that. You can always peer out of our windows. This is not exactly a Greek day, it's more of a Northern Europe day, cloudy and windy and rainy, but we are in Greece, he is in Greece, and I would like to have his views on the past and his look toward the future.
I just introduced the locations of the ports of Piraeus, and I think Greek is a very, very important place and very good geological locations, which is away from the south of the Europe, especially for the East Med, which is going to the East Med, from the South Med, and which is going to the East Med for the logistical centrals. And you can see for our ports of Piraeus, in 2009, it's almost 14 or 15 years ago, the container, international container, which is transshipped in the ports of Piraeus is only about 800,000. But right now, we already reached, last year we reached 5.1 million. So apart from the local containers, it's only occupied 25%. So the remaining 75% of the containers volume, which is all transshipment in the ports of Piraeus. So it will be created a lot of benefit for the society of the Greece, and also we use the Port of Piraeus as the logistic center and as the logistic hub, and to move the cargoes which are coming from the Far East, which are coming from the North America, going to the East Med. So really, that the location is very, very good for this. Second issue is that we developed a railway system and also the feeder systems from the Port of Piraeus, which is going to through the Arteries Sea, which is going to the Claudia, Rioja, and from the railway, we are through the north, going to the Maxton, going to the Hungaria, going to the Claudia, going to the Serbia. So this is really a very, very good locations. And why that we can create so many containers to make the transshipment in the Port of Piraeus. So I think the location is really very good. And talking about the Balkan and the Black Sea, it's also through the Port of Piraeus we are going to the Balkan area, to the Bulgaria, to the Romania. So all kind we have these three ways to doing it. So right now that we already created about 100,000 TEUs through our railway to the East Med, to the East Europe. And unfortunately that last year that we have a very big disaster in the Volas area, in the Larissa Volas area, and it stopped the railway for almost half a year. But right now, last year, December, which is already recovered for the railway trucks, and then we continue to do our best for this way. So I think this, we all use our seaways, we use our truck, we use our railways to create the Piraeus, the Greece, as the hub for the East Europe. So that will be very, very important, I think. This is the one issue. Second issue is that 15 years ago, once the COSCO Shipping to take over the majority shares of the container terminal, in 2016, we take over all majority shares of the whole ports of the Piraeus Authority. And then we try to make the good investment in the port. We almost spend about 600 million in the last 15 years to create the new container piers, to create and updated the ship repairing zones, to create the new Lolo terminals, which we are just to make the inaugurated ceremony several days before, which we created about 1,100 meters pier, and also can make the Lolo parking about 5,100 parking seats. So that will give us a great future, great resources to make the service for the Lolo ships. Because our Lolo turnover, the cars is almost about 400,000 turnover in 1 year. It is already the biggest one. I think it's also the #1 in the East Med. And after our new terminal put into the operation, we can get the more business, we can get the more ships, we can attract the more shipping carrier to calling our Port of Piraeus, to create the more business, to create the more benefit for us. This is the second issue. Third issue is that I would like to mention it that since we develop the ports of Piraeus, then we create a lot of worker jobs opportunities to whole of the societies. So right now, every day, we have the more than 4,000 staff or laborers working in our port. And also created about indirect 12,000 peoples who is working in these logistical chains, which is the supply all of our service. This is the fourth issue. The last one is that I have to mention, and also, because you know that the Greek is mainly the business is for the tourist. So our port also accommodated for the last year about 760 calling for the cruise ships, which is calling in our port. And we're handling about 1.5 million of the foreigner tourists on board. So it's also created a lot of benefits to all the society, to all the Greek, because all of the people will take the flights, because our home port, because our cruise ships is almost about 70% of the home port for the ports of Piraeus. So it means 760 ships calling, it's almost about 500 ships, which is as the ports of Piraeus and the home ports. So it means all of the passengers, they will embark or disembark from the cruiser through the ports of Piraeus. And also, there are a lot of the sea crews, they changing the sea crews in the ports of Piraeus. So it's created a lot of people to take the flights, to be accommodated in the hotel in one night in the Athens, and also created a lot of people for the traffic, to the tourists, to the shoppings, so everything. I think this is a very, very good business. And also we look at our plans at the moment. And this year in 2024, we already have we got the appointment from the ship owner that we have more than 1,000 ships call in 2024. So it will be coming from the middle of the April for the peak seasons, because right now is the slack season for the cruiser, and the cruiser normally will come from the middle of the April until the middle of the October. So let's see that we have a very, very great future for the cruiser business. The last thing is that also I think we all mentioned that the Red Sea crisis will give us a very, very big challenge for the 2024. And right now, all of the big ships from the Far East cannot through the Suez Canal, cannot through the Red Sea channel, and they are all going by the Cape of the Hope to go to the West Med. And that will be a great challenge for us. We already suffered for the first 1.5 months. It's not so much, but already about 11% of the containers drop. Especially for the container ships. So after March, I think it will getting more serious. Maybe we'll get to the 30% after March. So we try to persuade, I already asked our marketing department people to try to contact with the main ship owner, main ship operator, like the Maersk, like the MSC. Definitely COSCO shipping is no problem. We will try to do our best, and almost I think we still use the ports of Piraeus as the hub. So that will be big challenge for us, and we hope that the Red Sea crisis can be finished as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yu, for also for keeping very close to the timer, a very discreet timer, but present always. Thank you indeed for speaking to us about challenges and solutions. And may I notice that you started in a very diplomatic way by reminding us that COSCO came to Greece, to Piraeus, at a period of time of intense crisis when much was told about the need to bring in investment, mainly from Europe, but the first and for quite a lot of time most important investment was the COSCO investment. So COSCO showed, the Chinese part showed a willingness to contribute solutions to problems and not just to discuss problems. Then, of course, you addressed the issue of the interlinking with railways, which is a very important one, and we are looking forward to new solutions being brought by the Greek state. And in a rather, may I say, hopeful way, you talked to us about the cruise, which interlinks with tourism in Greece, and the notion of home porting, which is already putting Piraeus in a new way in the map of Europe, the tourist map of Europe and the tourist global map. So thank you indeed. And using as a passerelle, as the French say, mean a way of passage from this intervention to Mrs. Shia's own intervention, she will talk to us, she will bring to us, I think, the notion of Central and Eastern Europe with which China, through Greece, attempts to implement a policy. We are really waiting for your...
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you, everyone. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I wish to begin my presentation on China CEEC Cooperation with the second question in philosophy. Where are we from? Okay. I use a PPT to show my ideas. So, okay. Let me just try to answer this question by the beginning of this mechanism. Yes, you know, at the beginning of last decade, against the background of the global financial crisis, both the CE countries and China felt the crucial need to cooperate with each other in the fields of practical cooperation. So then, the first China, Central and Eastern European countries Economic and Trade Forum was held in Budapest, Hungary, on the 25th of June, 2011. That's a prelude of our mechanism, because as we see that the second year, the first China CEEC leaders meeting was held in Warsaw, Poland on April the 26th, 2012, marking the launch of the cooperation between China and Central and Eastern European countries. So that's Zamek Królewski, Warsaw, venue of the first China CEEC leaders meeting. Well, beautiful picture, isn't it? Okay. The Chinese embassy in Poland owns the copyright. Okay. And then nowadays we have 14 members and 6 observers, we could see. And in our participants, in this circle, we call our members as participants. We don't call them members, just participants. So in all the CEE participants, there are 9 EU members and also, 5 other participants applying for EU membership. Well, here comes a newcomer. That's Greece. Greece became the newest participant in the year 2019. in Dubrovnik during the meeting, the leaders' meeting of Dubrovnik, Croatia. And just like bilateral cooperation and China-Europe cooperation, China CEEC Cooperation constitutes one of the three accelerators for the advance of China CEEC relations. And the proactive role it plays in promoting balanced development in Europe is also remarkable. Okay, ever since its launch as a cross-regional mechanism focusing on practical cooperation with institutional construction keeping improving and extensive cooperation keeping enhancing in various fields, the cooperation has established with China CEEC leaders meeting in the guidance and overall multi-level and multi-field framework with over 50 platforms in more than 20 fields, such as economy and trade, culture, education, youth, agriculture, tourism, science and technology, health, think tank, and subnational exchange. Sorry, maybe I will take too much of the time, so sorry beforehand. Okay. Since the launching of this mechanism, there were 1 summit and 8 leaders meetings held. In the year 2021, the Beijing summit is a summit at the national state level. Head of state level. Because normally the leaders meeting should be at the prime minister's level. But in the year 2021, it's upgraded. But you know, that's a special one. So normally it is still at the prime minister's level. Okay. Here is Beijing summit hosted by President Xi Jinping of China. And also in the over 50 platforms in more than 20 fields, there are 10 ministerial level platforms and 2 provincial level subnational exchange mechanisms and 2 major expos. Well, let's have a look at the 10 ministerial level platforms. You know, there are 10 areas covered by them. Okay, too many of them. Okay, by the way, anyone who wants it could have 1 copy of my PPT, so you know there is no need for us to go into details. And there are 2 provincial level subnational exchange mechanisms. That's China CEEC Local Leaders Meeting and China CEEC Capital Mayors Forum. And there are 2 major expos. Normally, they are held in China annually. China CEEC Expo in Ningbo, and also China CEEC Changzhou SME Cooperation Forum, Small and Medium Enterprise Cooperation Forum in Changzhou, a city of Hebei province of China. And that's the 3rd China CEEC Expo and International Consumer Goods Fair, which was held last year. And the outcome list of the 3rd China CEEC Expo. Okay, you will have the copy of the PPT, so there is no need for you to take it down. What I would like to mention is that it makes a 25% increase than the 2nd Expo in the sense of kinds of goods on exhibition. Okay. Since Hungary is the guest of honor, so that's the Hungary Pavilion in the expo. And also that's the Changzhou SME Forum. Yes, I think that's the 5th forum held last year. And let's have a look at flagship projects. So, Mr. Yu, okay, you will be mentioned. The first is Port Piraeus. Have I pronounced it right? Okay, Piraeus, okay. The Piraeus Port project is a crucial project between China and Greece in the field of connection or interconnectivity. And also the Budapest-Belgrade Railway. and the Pilišac Bridge of Croatia. You know, what I wish to emphasize is that this is not only an important construction project between China and Croatia. In fact, it's a model project of tripartite market cooperation between China, Croatia, and the EU, because you know, it's mostly funded by EU funds. Okay, the China-Europe Railway Express. In the year 2023, 7,523 China-Europe Railway Express freight trains were operated, transporting 1.902 million TEUs of goods between China and 217 cities of 25 European countries. A great part of them are CEE countries. And well, let's have a look at the direct flights between China and CEE countries. Over the past decade, China has opened regular passenger routes with Hungary, the Czech Republic, Poland, Greece, and Serbia, with up to 30 flights per week. Okay, here's CA863. You know, all the Chinese delegates took this flight to Athens this time. And well, over the 11 years since the launching of China CEEC Cooperation, China's trade volume with CEEs has increased by more than 140%. Okay, these data has been mentioned by Ambassador Xiao already, so I will not mention it anymore. But which I would like to mention again is that in the past 11 years, China has granted market access to nearly 200 kinds of agriculture and food products from CEE countries subject to access management. The exports of agricultural products from CEEs to China have increased 1.5-fold. Okay. Let's talk about several myths. Okay, the first one is that some people say that, well, we've got bilateral cooperation now. Why do we still want China CEEC cooperation? Okay, have a look at this picture. They are the same carbon. There's graphite, there's diamond. So the same carbon. Sorry, everyone. Just because of different organization and combination, okay, they're different things. So a multilateral mechanism is very important. For example, as we see that this picture was taken during the Shanghai China International Import Expo. In that expo, only 2 or 3 CEE countries had their own country pavilion. Only 2 or 3 countries had their CEE countries, I mean, as their country pavilion, including Greece. But, you know, we've got a special thing that Central and Eastern European countries products area for every country, every member of this China CEEC Cooperation. So that solves everything. And then, as we know that the expo, the China CEEC Expo in Ningbo, you know, as we know that they have a permanent pavilion for all the CEE participants of China CEEC Cooperation. So people could purchase products from CEE countries every day. So, you know, but, you know, you just can't imagine that China could provide such kind of chance to any single country, any single CEE country. So, you know, to group is a good idea. And the second is balance of trade. Okay, some people say that, well, the mechanism has been launched for more than 11 years, nearly 12 years, but still the balance of trade of CEE countries with China, most of them are still on deficit. Why? Okay, to solve that problem, we do think these countries need more access for their products to Chinese market. But how could they? Because we say that there are 183 countries in the world having diplomatic relations with China. if all the CEE countries just wait in the queue for their turn for a one-on-one negotiation for market access, that may take 100 years. Okay, but what shall we do, or what shall they do? Okay, groepen nu edelman. It's not a joke. Group themselves is a good idea. Let's see. Okay. There is a customs information center established for CEE countries. Ladies and gentlemen, you could just put down this website, cceecic.org. Okay, that's a website for this information center. You could get all the information about the trade between CEE countries and China with that website. So let's have a look at the output. Okay, in December 2021, the General Administration of Customs of the People's Republic of China issued the announcement on requirements of inspection and quarantine for export of frozen fruits from Central and Eastern European countries to China. The number is 2021, number 96, allowing the import of frozen fruits from Central and Eastern European countries that meet the inspection and quarantine requirements from February the 1st, 2022. So, you know, that means all the 14 members, or shall we say, all the 14 participants of this mechanism could get the access immediately. But if they withdraw from that mechanism, they will lose that chance immediately. Okay, so, and also China CEEC Cooperation and China-EU relations, split or synergy. Some people say that, well, since China has a comprehensive strategic partnership with the EU, why should China have cooperation with CEEC countries separately? Is that to split EU? No, of course not, because as we know that China always think EU is a very important strategic partner for her to seek construction of a multipolar world featuring peace and development. So a strong Europe, a strong independent Europe in solidarity is what China wants to see. So, you know, there is no such a thing. In fact, China and EU's relations could be featured by synergy. Let's see. When China's New 3 meet with EU's green economy, okay, that's CATL. That's the land purchasing document signing ceremony of BYD. Both of them have factories in Hungary. Yes, okay. Anyone knows the New 3 for China's international trade? Okay, it's electric passenger vehicle and lithium batteries and also solar cells. Okay, as we know that when this China's New 3 meet with EU's green economy, that will benefit both sides. Okay.
You are pushing towards the wall.
Okay, yes, okay. So we are 4 3 C's, cooperation, coordination, and connectivity. And against the 3 P's, protection, prejudice, and pan-politicalization. Okay, so, but there is 1 P we love so much, that is BBS, okay? And also, what will happen next? Besides the 2 major expos, the China CEEC National Coordinators Meeting, and the 6th China CEEC Conference on Innovation Cooperation that will be held in Czechia, and the 6th China CEEC High-Level Conference on Tourism Cooperation in the Hellenic Republic. And also, since there are so many friends from the think tanks, there are 2 platforms for think tanks. Here, they have annual meetings every year, so you could just, okay, pay attention to our official website, okay. You could get all the information about our events. Okay, sorry for taking too much of your time, and thank you all for your attention and patience.
Mr. Xia has already rewarded all of us amply by putting quite a lot of material on our table of discussion, because the underlying question, of course, is how the relationship of China with Europe, with Central and Eastern Europe, with Greece, will, let me say, sail through the less warm waters of these last years of tensions in geopolitics, and how the intention of cooperation will prevail and keep going on. But this is a matter for discussion in the next round of debate. And now, Dr. Angelos Vlachos. Also, thank you for correctly pronouncing Piraeus. We, as Greeks, have more or less surrendered to the English name. You've been kind enough to use the Greek one, and correctly.
Just to tell you something. On my way here, I just asked one of the embassy's local staff about the pronunciation. So
there you are.
I went on my way here.
Right, thank you. So now, Dr. Angelos Vlachos, who has a number of hats, who wears a number of hats. I knew him as an expert on tourism. He now is a board member of the Hellenic Ports Association. The stress is on the S, on the plural. And he's also CEO of the Port of Kavala, one of the northern Greek ports, not a major one until now, but a very promising one. So now again, the regional aspect comes to the fore, also with the tourist inclination. Mr. Vlachos, I don't want to preempt your presentation, but still.
Your Excellency, the Minister, Your Excellency, dear Ambassador, esteemed guest, dear host, of course, I would like to thank the coordinator of this event for his kind invitation. Allow me a comment beyond this text. It's a pleasure to speak in front of a fair number of Chinese people 10 years after my service in China. So it's the first time, and it's a privilege. Mr. Papagiannidis, let me get back to the point. Setting the current geopolitical agenda, the recent Houthi military attack on container ships that rattled global trade is only the latest chapter of the Red Sea recent troubles. Before setting aside the cruise issue, I'm going to get in a few minutes. We all know all this breakdown in the supply chain. Car factories, I just read the last days, have been idled in Belgium or in Germany. Spring fashion stores delayed in the British market. So, as we all know, these attacks on ships in the Red Sea are delivering another shock to global trade, coming on top of pandemic and related long jams at ports, combined with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, not to omit that. So the whole conflict sends shock waves through the global shipping industry, disrupting supply chains and exposing vulnerabilities. Let's focus on this key term, vulnerability. We are fragile, we are open to threats, and that's something we have to deal with. We have to handle somehow and do it pretty soon. In 2023, two major gateways connecting global markets failed. The passage through the Panama Canal 2024 will, as announced, accommodate ships with shallower draft. This is serious. Utterly, the region around the Suez Canal has become dangerous again, and there is no indication that it will be safe pretty soon. So this difficult situation is aggravated by the crisis in the Red Sea, also adding to the Black Sea problems. Southeastern, actually, Mediterranean is at the very center of these geopolitical tensions. And according to the data from the Global Logistics Technology Platform, there has been a diversion of 25% of the world's shipping capacity, leading to a surge in shipping rates. Rates from Asia to North America have risen by 75% in the last 2 months, with an anticipated additional increase of 50% to 100% in this month. The situation urges industries to reconsider dependencies on just-in-time inventories and potentially accelerate the trend towards regionalization of certain supply chains, a momentum that gained traction during the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the precise way these events unfold and their long-term impact on shipping and supply chains will hinge on the duration of this heightened threat and the response of global powers to the situation of Yemen. Speaking about cruise, a couple of months into the latest conflict, cruise operators have responded swiftly to the geopolitical disturbances in the Middle East by modifying or even cancelling itineraries. What we have learned so far, it seems that the main sub-region impacted has been the Red Sea, as the volume in the Persian Gulf and the Eastern Mediterranean is still stable, and this is a positive signal. While some ports in the Eastern Mediterranean are seeing increased activity as cruise operators adjust itineraries, volumes evidently is decreasing for ports in Israel, Jordan, and the Red Sea, but also for our neighborhood. And I'm really afraid that even for Piraeus, which is the biggest cruise port in the area and is the flagship for Greece, and for the rest of us in northern Greece, the situation will be aggravating, and we have to deal with that as well. So this Red Sea crisis evidently has affected all the programs, the cruise programs in the region by cancelling sometimes the winter itineraries and also the transpositioning itineraries to Mediterranean from Asia and Australia. More specifically, in light of this, the coming cruise era, all the cruise ships that operated for the winter period in Asia and Australia, they have cancelled their pass through the Red Sea, preferring the circumnavigation of Western Africa. I'm speaking about companies like Silver Sea, Virgin, Carnival. Sorry. Pricing also appears to be eroding slightly for Middle East-based itineraries in 2024. Elsewhere, overall pricing has plateaued in recent months, aligning with the softening economic backdrop. Now, speaking also about the cruise business in the northern part of the Mediterranean, including the Black Sea, the situation for the last years, as you probably know, was a disaster since 2021, but it seems that there are some signals of relief, particularly in the southern coastal area, excluding Odessa and Sochi, but mostly benefiting the ports of Bulgaria and Romania. What about our area in Greece? The whole situation initially has, at the first place, affected in a positive manner, I would say, the calls at the Greek ports. Insofar that we had some cancels in Egypt, Israel, Cyprus. However, the next period, I am afraid, doesn't seem very promising for the Greek ports due to the fact that this heavy traffic of the cruise ships in the area of Southeast Mediterranean, it possibly indicates a rerouting towards the Western Mediterranean, Atlantic, and Northern Europe. And this is something that all ports of the Greek ports should take it into account. Hence, following all this set of events, a number of lines are cancelling board calls, while the latest attacks on cargo vessels compelled these lines to cancel the itineraries. Carnival, for example, cancelled 10% of its whole fleet. So such a move equals so far to 10% roughly, of the revenues of this cruise giant firm. Unrest conclusively means to rethink about itineraries, that all the travel plans in the broader area have been affected, and also there is a heightening focus on passenger safety. On the other hand, speaking from the other side of the Atlantic, the impact on cruise operators, a chief executive in the States said that it will not be very significant. While risks remain, the tourism industry enters 2024 with renewed momentum toward the complete rebound. Still, challenges like labor shortages and cost inflation temperature in overwhelmingly positive outlook. Once again, the cruise business needs to modify websites, change cruise schedules, as well as change calculation and supply chain plans. The industry needs to adjust inventory plans and production projections. Obstacles have arisen at key sea connections, forcing maritime transport operators to seek a return, I would say, to the historical routes used to conquer the world. Speaking about circumnavigation in Western Africa, resembles to what happened 3 centuries ago, like the age of Vasco da Gama, etc. Will we have to travel around the world in 80 days again? That's the question. Let's hope not. I prefer to stop at this time, at this moment, so as to make a fair use of the time provided. Thanks a lot.
Thank you indeed. It was just before the blink, and we have all had a very deep visit of the peculiar and intricate world of the cruise, where the very notion of shock waves rippling through our world take a very tangible aspect, and the search of resilience is an exercise that has to be built upon. I really thank Angelos Vlachos for his sharing with us all this documented approach to the cruise, which in fact has not been a long-standing habit of the Mediterranean and of Greece. So it's a newly won aspect of our economy, which has to be really thought out to be preserved. And now I turn to my good friend, school friend even, Dimitris Ralis. I don't know the English word for kondos masitis. We have been one class apart at school, who then had an illustrious career in our Greek Foreign Service. And he also shares the quality of Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation Organization, the BSEC. And I hope that in his presentation we are going to have also this kind of shift from the Mediterranean to the Black Sea. Dimitris.
Thank you, Adonis. Thank you for your nice words. Dear co-chairman of the Balkans and Black Sea Forum, Your Excellency the Ambassador of China, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to be here. Actually, there could be no better place for convening such a meeting than today's forum, and coming at a very crucial and important time parameter. Well, the recent developments in both the wider Black Sea region, but also the wider Middle East region, have brought to the fore the need to reapproach many parameters related to global trade arteries and global supply chains. For the Black Sea Economic Cooperation Organization, which I have the honor to represent here today, transport connectivity is essential, very essential indeed, to facilitate movements of goods, services, and people. That's why it should not come as a surprise that this is high on BSEC agenda and plays a very important role in securing free and smooth trade flows. All those crises that have occurred have accentuated once more the vulnerability of the global transport sector along the trade arteries and at border areas especially in times of crisis. They have heavily impacted the efforts to maintain a high level of trade flows through the wider BSEC region, which is indeed which became a hub, the wider region for the international global trade arteries. All this and the additional pressure put on already congested border routes and arteries, affecting both land, road and rail, but also sea routes safety. All that is proof of the importance of maintaining open all crucial global trading arteries, including the wider Middle East and Black Sea regions, which form important bridges between East and West, North and South. I mentioned already that transport connectivity is essential for us. Significant efforts and investments are already being made for the construction of new roads, ports, logistics services, and maritime connections. BSEC has its own projects in the transport sector, constituting a very important regional contribution to the extension of the trans-European networks and the development of Euro-Asian transport links. They are also complementary to the development of the transport corridor Europe-Caucasus area, the TRASECA, and that makes clear that improving and facilitating both the intermodal routes as well as the border crossings in the region are high on our agenda. BSEC, for those who are not very well acquainted with that, is covering an area of paramount geostrategic importance. It is a real bridge, a hub between Europe and Asia, a significant energy and vital energy and road and rail transportation crossroads. Its strategic planning is multidimensional. It aims at multiplying available global intermodal trade arteries. We do so by promoting alternative routes such as the Black Sea Ring Highway, the motorways of the seas, connecting many ports in the Black Sea region and also in the Caspian Sea, and also by transforming other connecting routes like the Danube River. While part of our efforts are aiming at economic development in the Black Sea region, all these projects would definitely strengthen this region's role as a real Europe-Asia connectivity hub and as an alternative and parallel role with the Middle East connecting routes. Well, it is understandable that in the context of the regional developments, debates have been concentrated on security-related issues. It's necessary, therefore, to have in mind in such debates that security is multidimensional, with the economic dimension being a most relevant one. Strong economic relations and cooperations, be they bilateral, regional, or multilateral, have not only brought economic progress and prosperity, but they helped promoting stability, mutual understanding, and good neighborly relations. Now, back to the BSEC region's role as a hub, It brings me to the middle corridor, which as of late has been experiencing rapid growth, with freight volumes having shifted from other corridors for well-known reasons, including from maritime routes. This is why it's very important to maintain open many trading arteries in order to keep alive all these global supply routes. According to the International Road Union, in 2022, transit volumes were nearly threefold compared to 2021. This growth in trade volumes is putting pressure on already congested borders. Therefore comes the urgent need to optimize the efficiency and security of trade and border crossings. If the middle corridor is used effectively, as a recent and very enlightening OECD report shows, important economic opportunities will arise for the Central Asian countries to benefit for the trade between China and Europe, and will offer increased in importance alternative trade arteries. In particular, the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railway, which is one of the main arteries of the middle corridor, offers a new perspective for the uninterrupted trade between China and Europe. The Belt and Road Initiative seeks also to connect Asia with Africa and Europe via land and maritime networks, with the aim of both improving regional integration, increasing trade and stimulating economic growth, but also offering alternative trade arteries. All this, dear friends, show that transport connectivity is a global matter. It cannot be seen in isolation in one or the other region. They are all part of a global system that is connecting the various important regions from east to west and north and south. That's why we need to keep open all major arteries, global trading arteries, and try to do all our best to promote trade by offering all possible alternatives. This will help in keeping costs low and in maintaining and promoting peace and stability through economic cooperation. This is what I'd like to say. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and I'm ready, of course, to participate and answer questions. Thank you.
Thank you to Dimitris Rallis for not only putting squarely on our table the matter of Black Sea, Balkans and Black Sea, so sub-regional and regional cooperation, but also in reminding us that transport connectivity is a must for resilience of global trade to be maintained, which when we look at conflicts, we tend to forget, and we remind of it ourselves when damage has been done.